All righty. We are live from the War Room. It is a Sunday. Typically, we'd have a recap stream today, but we decided in the wake of no UFC event on Saturday, which it feels weird because the Super Bowl was last week. So we have no Sunday with football, and then we have no Saturday with UFC. So
we had the All-Star game, though. That was pretty lit.
For those who care about the NBA All-Star game, yes, the NBA All-Star game was today. Maybe that's if you really care about Zuffa boxing was today. So there you go. And people were saying Zuffa boxing was really good today. So maybe I'll go check it out on Paramount. But today we're just doing a little news recap stream. A lot of stuff happened. Hey, Tyler, you've been waiting on this one, man. We see you in the comments. What's up, my brother? Welcome to the stream. But this is going to be a fun one because there's a lot of stuff that we kind of missed. And this is kind of how we're going to do streams from now on. We're going to stream more often. I know we tell you guys that all the time. We're going to stream more often. And if we actually do stream and it's not going to be a recap stream, this is how we're going to do it. We're just going to do an entire news roundup from the past few days. We've seen a lot of rumored fights. We've seen a lot of, tweets being sent out. And we're going to lead it off with, yo, Shrikar, weren't you the guy who was saying the White House card wasn't going to happen? Yeah, dude. Hey, welcome back to the stream, Vinay.
Yeah, welcome back. Haven't seen your name in a minute.
But yeah, man, I was wrong.
Man, that was low-key like a...
It's happening. And that leads us to our breaking news because Dana White went out and said in the press conference for Zuffa tonight that the White House card is done. Matchmaking is finalized. Everything's good to go. I believe I saw Brett Okamoto from ESPN also tweeted out, but I think he tweeted a follow-up as well, which I'll pull up. But Chris, in the meantime, man, we've talked about it a little bit on what fights we think could be on this card with, what type of belts we could see on this card. Has anything changed for you? Do you think they're going to run the same route? I think we're both in agreement on the main event.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it'll be interesting. I'm really not too sure what I'm expecting from this. I don't think that it's going to be what was rumored to happen, which is, well, not rumored. President Trump came out and said there's going to be 8 title fights and all this hoopla. Obviously, that is
8 title fights.
Yeah, it's completely not feasible. That would cook the UFC's entire schedule and planning. I think there will be 2 title fights. I think there will be. We could see a third, surprisingly, maybe. I'm not really sure. I think there will be high-level fights, though. I honestly think that maybe making this card smaller, which I think it's going to be, will boost the actual integrity of the card. What's up, 10-7? Welcome back to the stream.
What's good, man?
Yeah, and 8 title fights definitely was always cap. It's just funny to hear that. But I think it had to be mentioned because it was put out there. But I think that maybe keeping this card smaller will kind of boost the integrity and actual meaning of the card. So maybe we see a 6-fight main card and that's all we'll get. I don't think that if they do go the route of putting more fights on this, I don't think we see more than 10 fights, if I'm being completely honest, because you want to kind of have high-level fights, or at least I would like to see high-level fights, and I don't think that they're going to be able to put out 10 absolute bangers. But something I did see rumored that I don't think is going to happen, and it kind of leads into our next thing, and I don't want to, take that story and run with it right now because we're talking about the White House. I have been seeing that Cyril Gane might be fighting Alex Pereira for the interim heavyweight title. Now, is that true? I have no idea. But I think that is something to point out that there have been rumors. Are they true? People say a lot of things, but it's interesting, especially with the situation that Aspinall is in. I don't know what you think about that, Shrikar, but
yeah, I'll get into that in a second. Not 2 title fights is too little. Yeah. I've always maintained that they're going to have kind of like, I wouldn't say a fake belt, but they're going to throw like a presidential championship, maybe
USA belt.
Like a USA, yeah, something like that, just to fake the prestige behind the belt. I don't think we're going to see 3 actual title fights, 2 for sure. We're definitely getting 2 title fights. Tyler Fish has just got signed to headline the White House card. Ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, Congrats.
If we have a prelims, I'm expecting you on there, Tyler. If it's just main card only, you're capping to me right now, brother. It was Ruben Carter who said Pereira would fight Gane. Ruben is known for talking a bunch of shit. Yeah, I don't buy what Ruben Carter says. I have said before though, Pereira Gane, if Aspinall was going to be out for a long time, just set that up for an interim belt. I believe Ruben went as far as to say that Aspinall is going to be stripped, and this would be for the vacant title, or they would do Jones Pereira for the vacant title, which would be a travesty to the sport. If they decided,
I don't think he's going to be fighting.
I don't think they should strip Aspinall. I feel like that's so unfair, like completely unfair. If they didn't strip Jones while he was hurt, with his torn
pec. Yeah,
there's no shot they're going to strip Aspinall for this. You know, make an interim. I agree. Keep the division moving as best you can, but don't disrespect your champ like that. Even though they kind of leaned towards disrespecting him before, and it's definitely gone both ways. Obviously, Tom and his dad have said their part about Dana White in public, which, as we all know, you shouldn't do. You really shouldn't do.
Don't bite the hand that feeds you.
Colby gonna fight on this card?
I agree. I think we're gonna see a Bo Nickel versus Colby Covington fight on this card.
I'm not buying it's gonna be Bo. I don't think it'll be Bo. That would require Colby going up to 185, which I don't think will happen. I think his next fight will be at welterweight.
I think the only reason I feel like that might be the fight is because of the Real American Wrestling press conference and everything that went down when Luke Rockhold and Colby Covington were just absolutely giving it to Bo Nickel. I mean, I feel like there's a little bit of beef there right now. And if you're doing a card at the White House, you have two American fighters, Colby Covington, who preaches America and lives by that. He's definitely going to be on the card. I don't think there's a doubt about that. But I think it'll be interesting. I think that'd be a great fight too. I think that'd be a fun one to see two great wrestlers going at it. But yeah,
they'll probably put Colby up against an Unk. I think Burns is fighting Mallet. I think that's already good to go. And I'm expecting that they announced a UFC Ottawa card, so I'm expecting that to be probably the co-main for that Ottawa card.
Yeah, that'll be a good fight.
Aspinall might vacate though. He doesn't seem like the type of guy to hold up the division if he's out for a long time. I think all indications are that Aspinall is not trying to vacate, because if he was going to vacate, he probably would have done it already. You know, like I think when Yuri suffered his injury, literally like right after he vacated, same thing with Jamal Hill, like right after they vacated, we knew for a while what it was going to take for Tom Aspinall and his recovery process, which honestly, I'll pull up right now while we're at it. McGregor versus Colby, no shot. Loki think we might get Chandler versus Masvidal on this card. Colby said
I could see Masvidal making a return on this card.
I could see that too. Maybe they do Colby versus Masvidal again. I'm not particularly intrigued by it at all. Colby will kind of just do the exact same thing to him again, and he'll probably make it look even worse. But yeah, I believe Colby when he says he doesn't want to fight another American. It's kind of a stupid reason. Like, it kind of seems very cop-out-ish, but you know what? If he doesn't want to do that, then that's fine.
I think he's done enough to earn the right to say that and probably get what he wants, in my opinion.
But as you guys know, our main event prediction, and the one that is probably going to come to fruition, I think it's going to be Ilya versus Gaethje.
100%.
That is going to be your main event for the White House card. We pretty much said it, I think, a few weeks ago.
We said it after
Gaethje got the interim belt. Yeah, so it's going to be Ilya Gaethje, guys. I don't see them going in a different direction. McGregor, I'm not betting on him to sign a fight until we really see it. So I'm not going to bet on McGregor being the main event. Ilya is one of the biggest superstars in the UFC. Gaethje is an American. It makes perfect sense.
1 + 1 is 2 right there, in my opinion.
I swear if Colby versus McGregor is the headliner, I'm not watching that fight.
No, there's no chance.
Yeah,
I think Connor's going to have to learn that right now. He's not in a position to really headline an event like that anymore. But I mean,
Connor can headline this easily. It's just
but they
It's
want
just
a
like
title fight
if they're actually going to get something agreed upon is the question.
I guess, but I feel like he's been away for so long, and also you want a title fight to headline this. Like, it's not going to be like the McGregor Cerrone fight where they don't have any more options to put ahead of that fight. I mean, McGregor, obviously one of the biggest stars in MMA history, but for a spectacle like this, or at least how they're building it up to be, you want a pretty big fight to headline, and I don't think there's a bigger fight right now than Ilya versus Gaethje.
Which does beg the question, guys, and I'll let you guys answer this in the chat if you'd like, but Conor just move on to bare knuckle. Yeah, so if Conor doesn't fight in the White House card, I think we can call it quits on him coming back to the UFC. Because if he doesn't come back for this one, like what bigger moment is there going to be? At least in 2026, what bigger moment is there going to be than this one? You know, the most hype card of the year, probably the most hype card since the Sphere. You know, I wouldn't think that like Conor would come back for just any event. And
he'd come back for MSG.
No, we've had MSG cards before. Like it's just not, it's not as special, you know. And MSG
made history in MSG.
Yeah, but he made history in the T-Mobile. He made history in the T-Mobile Arena, but he's not going to come back to Vegas.
Yeah, you're right.
Know? Like, I think you can call it quits on Conor if this is really it, and he doesn't fight at the White House, and he's not the main event, because he's not going to fight on the White House if he's not the main event. Simply put. All right, let's get into Tommy Boy.
I don't know.
So Tom Aspinall's fighting future is still unknown. He says he's not even thinking about fighting right now. He still can't track moving targets. He gets dizzy if he changes direction suddenly. His eyes hurt if he sends too many text messages. Same here, actually.
Like concussion.
No, honestly, that happens with me too. Like if I send too many texts, I'm just on my phone, I'm just scrolling through reels or something. My eyes actually do hurt. I couldn't imagine being eye poked and then going through that. He's taking 32 eye drops a day post-surgery. Double vision on one side that's so bad it makes him feel sick when he attempts
eye drops. So what is that? 4 eye drops every 8 hours, like for 8 hours? No, it would be you guys are about to watch me do some horrendous math. So
I'm spotlighting you.
Yeah, 4.
How do I spotlight you right now?
4 eye drops. I don't know. That's a lot of eye drops. That sounds cap, bro. That sounds cap. I'm not disrespecting Aspinall. I understand. I've messed up eyes too. 32 eye drops a day, bro. Like,
yeah, I mean that's nuts. The thing is, UFC won't let Conor fight out his contract because if he leaves UFC and stays fighting in bare knuckle and he promotes it, well, he genuinely could help bare knuckle. Bare knuckle will never overtake UFC.
Yeah,
Let's
it'll never overtake.
Even if McGregor really does, like he's doing a great job with bare knuckle and
it's
being a
fun
promoter.
Alternative. We'll put it like that.
It's just the UFC has completely monopolized this market to like no end, to the point where they have no comp. Like even PFL and One and Brave and all these different promotions, like it does not matter. Like they will never.
Speaking of bare knuckle, have you seen the Eddie Alvarez Mike Perry beef?
I have not.
Oh my!
I don't know if I'm interested, but fill me in.
Yeah, so Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez have fought, I think, twice in bare knuckle. I think Mike Perry won both. He definitely won the last one. I don't want to spew false information, but two great fights. And there was a bare knuckle event within the past couple of weeks, and Mike Perry was there. He saw Eddie Alvarez. Everything was good. Apparently, Mike Perry was pissed drunk, and he was talking crap to Eddie Alvarez's 16-year-old son. Basically, so Eddie Alvarez's son brought his girlfriend there, and these are obviously teenagers, and Mike Perry's an adult, and he was saying something to his son's girlfriend, and then he told his 16 or 17-year-old son, you know, if you don't like what I'm saying, you should do something about it. Basically trying to fight his 16-year-old son. And then Eddie Alvarez is like, what's going on? And then he said, I'm sorry, I know I'm in the wrong, but maybe you should do something about it. And then they got into this whole scrap and beef in the crowd, right after one of the fights. and it was crazy. I was kind of blown away. I was like, dude, all right. I love Mike Perry. I think he's hilarious, but yeah, that is a really, really bad look trying to start beef with a 16-year-old.
Yeah, I don't know what bro's doing.
Yeah. And even Eddie said, I liked Mike Perry before. I thought he was a good guy. I thought everything he was doing was kind of a gimmick, and now I just realized it's not a gimmick, and he's just really not a good person. So I don't know. That's you must have a lot of alcohol in you to start doing that.
I also think it's bare knuckle symptoms, to be honest.
Oh yeah, well he is probably massive amounts of CTE.
Yeah, so. I think the CTE is just like coursing through his hippocampus right now. You know what I mean? Like is not good right now. You know. All blessings to Mike Perry and Eddie Alvarez, peace and love. But yeah, nah. Back to Tom Aspinall though. I really like. I feel for the guy, man.
Yeah,
I really do. Because to this day, I guarantee if I go in these comments, that's pretty funny. Nice, Bisping. This guy had serious eye poke, and some fans turn this into a joke and or keep trolling it. Yeah, exactly. And then here we go. Of course, it's a John Jones profile pic. This got to be the biggest host in MMA history. Yeah, I mean, like people are just stupid, bro. Like I genuinely don't know like what more folks want to see. And I think it's more so the opposite. I think folks want to see less because the more Tom speaks about this eye injury, the more people think he is quote unquote milking it. But then the less he talks, it's just kind of like leaving things in the unknown. And maybe he didn't have the, it's a lose-lose for him. It's a lose-lose for the guy.
He's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. So.
Literally. And I truly feel bad for the guy. Like Tom Aspinall, I'll go ahead and say it again. If he does hop back in that octagon with Ciryl Gane, he will win. He is going to win. Assuming he learned his lessons from this past fight, which I'm thinking he did. And again, that was not even a full round of fighting. And you could argue Tom Aspinall won that round. I think he was going to be A-okay. I didn't think there was. Obviously, there was trouble in that was literally the worst version of Tom Aspinall we've ever seen, and he still almost took the round. But I think he'll be fine, guys. But in the meantime, if they are going to set up an interim title fight, which I think they should, let's see Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane. First off, that's going to be an incredible striking matchup for what it's worth. That is going to be a true elite heavyweight fight. We don't really see much of those that often anymore. People who say Aspinall was getting butchered or brain dead. Yeah, dude, he wasn't.
I wouldn't say he was getting butchered, but personally, I thought Ciryl Gane won the round.
I think I give it
by a slight margin. Slight.
But I think even in the sense that it was a coin flip round,
it might go to the
not like, Ciryl Gane was piecing him up. He was gonna lose. It was gonna be a bad night for Tom.
Yeah, he landed good shots though. Gane did land a few good shots. But so did Aspinall.
And I'll give Ciryl Gane this, the whole first half of the round, he was outstriking Tom. I think Tom ended up winning the round just off the adjustments he made in the second half of the round. Ciryl Gane was actually doing some great work in the first half of that round. If it went to a second, I do think Aspinall would have carried over the momentum from the second half into that second round. Now, I'm not saying he would have gotten the finish in that second round, but I do think he would have found a little more success. I think he would have won that round. And from then on, who knows where the fight could have gone, I do think that Aspinall was truly preparing for a 5-round fight. He always says it. He just ends up starching people, so it doesn't even get that far. But I do think he was preparing for a 5-round technical fight with Ciryl Gane. This is a guy that seems like he's prepared for anything, Don't forget that Gane defended the takedown with the eye poke uppercut. Yeah, literally. He had his fingers outstretched the entire round. It was bound to happen at some point, and Tom just caught the absolute worst of it. So I do think that Pereira Gane will be our next fight for an interim title. I really cannot speak to how long Tom is going to be out, but the fact that he's not even thinking about fighting is just not encouraging in the slightest. But yeah, man, Alex and Ciryl will be a great fight, though.
Yeah, to be fair, I was hating a little bit when all the news came out initially. I did think he was milking it a little bit, But now seeing all this, going to multiple doctors and getting double eye surgery, I mean, I feel for him. Like I said, I wear glasses. I understand eye problems. But yeah, no, it's bad. It seems like he has eye problems on top of a concussion. Because I mean, you really don't realize how important your eyes are. And I know that sounds really stupid, but let me explain. Just close your eyes and try and walk in a straight line. You will not be in a straight line by the time you open up your eyes in about 10 to 15 steps. Your eyes have everything to do with your equilibrium. And if your sense of balance is thrown off, especially in a sport like this, any sport, walking, like just regular life activities, walking up the stairs, it's dangerous. It's actually very dangerous. So, I mean, I'm glad that he was able to get the surgery, and I hope he heals fast. He's one of the best heavyweights that we've ever seen in the sport. So, yeah, it's just very unfortunate. I think that's the way to put it. It's just super unfortunate that this is how it's all going down, and he's getting hate for it too. So,
hey, chat, I'll give you a would you rather, and I think my answer is pretty clear. And God willing, this doesn't happen to any of us. All right, would you rather be deaf or would you rather be blind? I'd rather be deaf. Like, yeah, obviously, deaf. Like,
use hearing aids.
Bad, but if you can't see, bro, like, I would need to be able to see to just
okay. But what if you become Daredevil?
I mean, I didn't know superpowers were a part of the question, but like, he doesn't have superpowers. He was just blind and he developed supernatural senses. Yeah, if you looked at my athletic profile, I'm not even close to Daredevil, so I just don't think this is possible for me. So it's not applicable, in which case I'm choosing deaf. Like, I can come up with a fire superpower when I'm deaf and be like a fire like super.
Shout out Daredevil though.
That's what I'm saying, Tyler. Like, imagine not being able to see. Like, that is just a whole different level of like, you're cooked. Like, genuinely cooked. Peace and love to all my blind people, though.
Yeah, you guys are
hopefully Tom Aspinall does not become one of them.
Bad.
But yeah, man, I'm very intrigued by the idea of Pereira. Like, I think that could definitely be something to look out for. I don't know if it'll be on the White House card. It could be. I don't think it would headline over Ilya.
No, it wouldn't. I think it would be the co-main.
But like, that's just like, I feel like that's such a weird thing to co-main because Pereira can easily just headline a card. Like, I want to see it headline Miami. I'd love to see it headline 327. But then you throw in the added wrinkle of Yuri and Olberg, because if Pereira does move up, now the title's vacant. So right. I think Yuri Olberg will have to be in strong consideration for where that's going to be placed on the upcoming slate of events, because I think either Yuri Olberg or Pereira will end up headlining 327 in Miami. I don't know which one it's going to be. Probably Pereira, and then they'll probably, obviously the ideal situation would be Pereira and Yuri Olberg on the same card. But
you know what I think a wild card championship fight is for the White House?
What do you think?
Petr Yan versus O'Malley. I think that's a big wild card fight.
I don't think they're gonna do Yan and O'Malley before Yan and Merab. I think they're gonna do Umar and O'Malley, to be honest. But I don't know.
We'll see. Honestly, I don't know. I think the White House card and the spectacle of that might make them make some crazy matchups, and people just start jumping the line just to get a dream matchup or something that'll, pop eyes.
Tyler, Islam and Ilya is not happening. It's not.
Yeah, if it happens, it's happening in 2027.
And to be honest, I'm kind of past the point of like, I need to see this fight. Like, I obviously do need to see this fight, but with how stagnant welterweight has been and how stagnant lightweight has been now that Ilya is kind of going through all his divorce stuff, I'm kind of a guy where I just want to see the divisions moving, and I'm not like, okay, stop everything so we can see a big super fight that will probably last like, however many rounds. Like, that's just the way I operate. If you guys still want to see it, I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, because obviously it's a super fight. But I don't know. For me, I'm kind of just past the point where like I need to see it happen, you know? So, and for what it's worth, I just don't think it'll happen.
I think the demand has lessened.
I don't think, well, I wouldn't say the demand is lessened. I think my personal demand is lessened. But I don't know. I just feel like it's not it's appealing, but would I rather see like Islam defend his title a few times or Ilya defend his title? I'd rather see that personally. But if we do get Islam Ilya, then whoop-de-doo, we get it. You know, it'll be a great.
No one's gonna complain.
All right, let's get into the flyweight action going on right now. So Joshua Van says he signed his contract. What could this mean? Well, I was saying Van and Ty. Hey, what's up, John Dong? How we doing, man? Good to see you, bro. I was saying Van and Tyra would be good if we could get it in Japan, but it does not look like the UFC is going to Japan.
Yeah, that kind of stinks.
Yeah, that's a big missed opportunity. But if we do have Van and Tyra fighting, which is what it looks like right now, I'll pull up another tweet because Manel Kopp went on Twitter. We're getting Van versus Tyra, but in the US. It's still going to be a good fight. Am I like over the moon about it? Like, I'd love to see it, but I don't know. Off the basis of merit, if it's in the US, I would have gave the title shot to Manel Kopp, personally. Who do you guys have, Fluffy or Strickland? We're going to go over that later in the video, but I'll tell y'all right now, I think Fluffy will win. And I think Chris has the same thing. But we'll get into it later in the video. Good question, though. The fight for the division's future, though. What do you mean by that? I feel like Pantoja's still there. It's not like... Well, okay, here's the thing. I think Van will beat Tyra. I think Van will beat Pantoja. Do I think Van will beat Manel?
Yes.
Does he beat Manel Kopp?
Yes.
Be honest with me. Be completely honest with me. Does he beat Manel Kopp? And y'all can let us know in chat too. I don't know. I've wrestled with that. It's almost like they're the same fighter fighting each other. I just think like Kopp's hand speed is a little bit quicker, but his finishing sequences are so good. But I think the way that Van throws his combos,
I think Van's going to be able to counterpunch those sequences.
I think we're going to see more than one fight between Van and Tyra over the next few years.
Oh, 100%. We were already supposed to get this fight a while ago, and it got canceled. I could see at least 2 to 3 fights between these guys in the next couple of years. 4 or 5 years.
So Kopp goes on Twitter. He says, fake news. I'm not fighting my son.
Yo, he's actually so funny though. I can't even lie. He is hilarious.
My team and I have been pushing for this fight since my last one, but they promised the title shot to Tatsuro. Even knowing that, we kept pushing to make this fight happen on March 7th. So they wanted it to be the 326 co-main. He was already cutting weight. There was a strong possibility, but the UFC decided not to do it. All right, so here's my thing.
Open with this too.
Chris, I don't know if you remember, they showed the bout order for 326, and it was like they left the co-main slot open. So do you think they had Van versus Kopp in mind when they put that graphic out there?
Probably. I would say 65% yes. But now, could it... Well, no, it wouldn't be Tyra versus Van.
Well, I'm trying to think what that co-main is going to do now if it's not Van and Kopp.
I know. It's pretty interesting because they're kind of cutting it thin, cutting it short for a co-main, unless they already have something in mind and maybe it's already, in the works to be signed. Who would it be though? You want it to be a decently big fight.
Like, it doesn't have to be a title fight, but I don't know who's going to step in on what, like 2 weeks notice, 3 weeks notice.
Yeah, 3 weeks notice. I don't know. Do you think they just bypass it and just move the card up? I feel like that's a mistake.
Dana must be making an announcement this Tuesday, right?
I would venture to say so.
Yeah, something's got to come. If they really do have a co-main for 326, that has to come out this week. Because if it doesn't come out this week, we're not.
It really could be Tyra versus Van.
But part of me thinks they're just going to put Van and Tyra on 327 because why would they have BMF over an actual title fight?
That is true. That's very true.
Even though Van and Tyra is not theoretically as big compared to Holloway and Oliveira, like I would think they put Van and Tyra on its own card. But if they do Van and Tyra on 326, that opens the door for 327 to have Pereira and Yuri Olberg. So, and then obviously the whole White House thing, how that plays a factor. Like, I think everything is kind of just completely dependent upon how many fights we get on the White House card and how many title fights we're getting on that card. Because every single event, basically from now until then, and then the few events after are going to be determined by that.
Yeah,
so I mean,
realistically, they could move up Kaio versus RDR and make that a co-main, and I'd be completely okay with that.
It's a good fight. I don't know if it's a strong co-main though, especially if it's a 3-rounder. Like I don't like. It's a good fight.
Maybe they make it a 5-rounder.
But I don't know if I want to see that fight as a 5-rounder. Considering we just saw Kaio in a 5-round fight. Okay, if it's a 5-round fight, Kaio is going to whoop RDR.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I agree.
If it's a 3-round fight, I think it's a little more interesting. I'd probably still lean Kaio, but watch the co-main be some oralist fight like Ankalaev versus Olberg. If they put Ankalaev as a co-main, I don't know what they're doing. There's no way they're trying to promote Ankalaev in the big 2026. How do you guys think Bautista versus Talbot would go? Chris, how do you think it would go?
That'd be a great stylistic fight, if I'm being completely honest. I think Peyton Talbot wins, if I'm being completely honest. I think he has a very good skill set to offset Mario's grappling, and he has, in my opinion, the complete edge in the striking game.
Yeah, I think I tend to agree.
It'd be a very close fight, but I'm gonna have to side with Talbot in that one because he's like, I mean, if Talbot wasn't as good of a grappler as he is and hasn't made the improvements that he's been making, I think I'd have to take Mario. But Mario really thrives in making his opponents uncomfortable, using his wrestling, his grappling, kind of like what he did with Vinicius Oliveira. Oliveira is a very dangerous striker, but the grappling is still a question, and that's exactly the game plan that he utilized, and it worked very well for him. But Talbot, I would love to see that fight as a 5-rounder. I wouldn't want to see it as a 3-rounder. I would need that as a main event.
You know what? I think I would take Mario. I think I'll take Mario. In a 5-rounder?
Yeah, I'm not mad. I think it'll be close.
My thing is, like, obviously, if we look at the physical advantages that Talbot has, you would think Peyton wins. But Mario is so good at just finding his entries and making his way into the pocket and just boxing from there. If Talbot tries to go into clinch situations, I think Mario is good enough. You all saw the Aldo fight. He's good enough in those situations. Mm-hmm. I think if it went to the ground, Mario's grappling is really, really good. Like, I'd say better than Peyton's. So on the ground, I'd give the edge to Mario. The only thing is Peyton has the long legs, which kind of gives me some pause. And then in a 5-round fight, I'd favor Mario's cardio over Peyton's. So I'll probably side with Mario. Talbot low-key beats most of the ranked guys except Jan, Umar, Merab, and O'Malley, and maybe Corey. I really want to see Talbot and Corey. Like that. Yeah, that would be a great fight.
But first, we need to see O'Malley versus Corey.
Yes.
That is a dream fight. Maybe that could be on the White House card.
You know what? If they put that on the White House card, hey, Donnie T, I'm sold, man. I'm sold. You got it, bro. You got it. If you had the power to make O'Malley Sandhagen happen, you got it, brother.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
What do you guys think of Strickland? I get why people don't like him, but I don't think his fights are as boring as people talk about. I'm not the biggest Strickland guy. I think he overpromises and underdelivers every fight. Even when he wins, as my email goes off, even if he wins, I feel like there's just not. I haven't seen an entertaining fight from. Well, I lied. DDP 1 was an entertaining fight. I'll give you that. All right. DDP 2,
no,
boring. Costa, boring. Izzy was a good performance. Was it entertaining outside of the first round? No.
Yeah, no.
Not really.
He kind of just coasted. The Abus fight was entertaining, even though it was
but that's because Abus gassed. Like,
yeah,
gassed
I mean, I thought that was entertaining.
Like, I'll give Sean the credit for the finish. Pereira fight was entertaining because Pereira starched him. Okay, I'm hating. Costa fight was boring because Costa was running the entire time. Yes, but that's also partially on. It's almost like Umar and Figgy at 324, where it's also partially on Strickland because he has to cut the cage off and he can find the finish. If Costa's running the whole time, it is on Costa, but Strickland, there's paths for you to get the finish in those situations too.
Yeah. Hey, but don't forget, Costa won that fight on one judge's scorecard, 49-46.
Which is still nuts.
Objectively, the worst scorecard in the history of MMA.
I don't know. Tai Tuivasa 3-0 over Rosenstrike was bad.
Yeah, but I guess. But when the I guess it's the same thing.
Nah, I'll give it to you though. I think in recent memory, I'd say the Costa Strickland one is the worst.
Dude, that was so bad. The other judges had it 50-45 and 49-46 for Strickland. And dude, this one judge had to have had money on Costa. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. 49-46 Jones over Reyes was pretty bad too. But yeah, I think that was a little bit further back. But anyways, where were we? Flyweights.
Yeah, we were at Manel Starboy Cop.
Yeah, I think Manel Cop, at this point, I think they're going to set up a fight with him and Kyoji. I think that's just how you got to move forward now. Because if they're doing Van and Tyra, Cop should be put in a real deal title eliminator, and I think Kyoji and Cop is the one. It would have been even better if they actually went to Japan, but
so Kyoji beat Cop in Risen. Do you think that happens again? Do you think Kyoji gets it done again?
I'm going to say Manel gets it done.
I might venture to say that too. I think it would be a great fight though. I actually think that would be that fight would be dead even in the line. It would be a pick'em.
It would be a pick'em. I could see Cop as maybe like a -150. I don't think he'd go as far as a -200, but I think it's a pretty even matchup. I just think the hand speed again, like that's the big game changer with Cop, is literally his hand speed. It's absolutely insane. But we got some more fight announcements, y'all. We have, as we pull this up, Beneil Dariush versus Manuel Torres. Good night, Benny. All right.
Why are they doing this to him? Like, this just can't be fair anymore.
It is fair, man. He has a number next to his name. It's just
I guess
how
he did
goes.
it to himself too. He said anyone, anytime, anywhere. Why did you do that to yourself, Benny? Why?
Yeah, poor guy. Guys, we won't cut it to you any other way. Everyone in chat, we know how this fight is going to go. Benny is going to get murked, like absolutely murked.
Manuel Torres by demolition.
Our bet for this fight will probably be Manuel Torres to win
under half a round.
Yeah, he'll get it done in the first round.
I love those props. They're so fun because it makes
the one time I bet an under half a round was. You also bet this too. Was it the Gautier
against Pulyaev?
Oh no, I did it against Treston Bynes.
Oh, yeah, that was free. Nah, the one against Pulyaev actually had me questioning life because it made me feel better that it went 3 rounds, but I've already talked about this in videos. That was so demoralizing. I was like, dude, you have him. You starched him in the first 30 seconds. Just jump on him. And I think he actually just wanted to kill him so bad, and then he wasn't able to.
Yeah, man.
It's a dangerous game to play.
Exactly. That is literally the game we play. But Dariush and Torres, I think this fight had to happen, to be honest. Everyone loves Benny. I love Benny. You love Benny. We love Dariush, you know? We don't actively hope he gets finished. But
we love Benny.
What was he saying, man? Like, this is just the way, it's just the way life goes. I'm sorry.
You know what? Props to him for taking these fights. I thought he was done after the Sarukian knee.
I don't think any fighter is in a position where, unless you have a lot of power, like, you're going to say no. And of course, Benny doesn't have that power.
I thought he was just going to retire, though.
You would think, but then the Moicano fight happened, and he thought he still had it, and then he called for anyone, anytime, anywhere, and then he got BSD. And he got good.
Dead.
Did he fight anyone before BSD, or was?
I don't think so. I'll check.
No, I believe it was Moicano, and then BSD. So it had to happen, y'all. As long as he's got a ranking, as long as he has the number next to his name, you know, he's gonna have to fight an up and comer. I think the only question that remains now is, my original mock was that Beneil Dariush would fight Quillen on the Perth card. So now I'm thinking, what are they going to do with Quillen? Because if it's a Perth fight night, I'm assuming they're going to try and get potentially JDM Prates to headline it. Remember when Dariush was supposed to be Islam? Yeah, dude. I kind of saw it, man. Like, if you go back and watch his fight against Mateusz Gamrot, like, that was a really good fight for many. It's just that I feel like the division just caught up to him. Once he took like an L, like once he got flatlined by Armin, like it was done. It was done. Yeah. You know, so it's unfortunate what happened to him. This is kind of how his career is going to peter out. I obviously wish the best for him, but it's over, buddy. It's over. But with Quillen, I don't know, man. I don't know what they're going to do with Quillen. I think that's going to be they're going to put him against. I'd love to see Quillen and Fiziev still. I think that'd be a great fight. I think it would make sense as a co-main on the Perth card. Put Fiziev back in Australia. I don't know what you were thinking for that, though, but that's just kind of my thought process.
No, I love Quillen versus Fiziev. I think that's perfect. I really do. I don't see him. I don't see Quillen fighting. You know, you can look at the rankings. Fares Ziam's at 15. Don't see that. Torres is now fighting Dariush. Do you have him fight Chandler? Realistically, you could, but
I still think they got to do Michael Chandler and Chris Duncan. Like,
yeah, I think Chandler's on a different path than Quillen right now. I don't think he's on a path to. I mean, like, yes, he's on a path to be fed to the Sharks, but I think that he's not going to be on a fight night per se. And Quillen's the perfect guy to put on a Perth fight night. And he could honestly be a co-main. I think he's earned the right to be a co-main now. A featured bout at minimum. So
Quillen on a fight night?
Yeah.
He's co-maining 100%. Like, there's no way they don't.
If he fights with 100%.
Yeah, they've kind of strapped a rocket to his back. The fact that he opened the main card on 325 just kind of told me all I needed to know.
Yeah.
Not that there wasn't like a lack of depth on that card or anything, but Quillen's going to be like one of the guys that they really try and build up. And they've done a good job of it so far. I just think he's ready, man. Like, he's ready for the rankings. He's ready for better comp. Jubilee rematch. Am I crazy for saying Jubilee will last a minute? All right. It won't be a 20-second KO. Jubilee will last a minute. He will not fold at the first punch. And to me, that'd be a win. That'd be a win. In my book, at least.
I think he could last a minute. Maybe. Yo, do you hear Jackson barking?
Yeah. Hey, everyone say good boy in the chat for Jackson, Chris's dog. I know I miss my dog right now.
I don't know what's out there. He thinks something's out there all the time. He's just alerting us that there's potential robbers, aka leaves blowing in the wind. They might be coming for the house.
I'll pull this up as well, but we have another fight that's been rumored for 327. There's another fight that's been rumored for UFC 327, and take everything with a grain of salt because this is Octagon Pulse, but we are getting a heavyweight matchup potentially between Curtis Blades and Josh Hokett. Two American wrestlers.
That is going to be a banger, in my opinion.
Elaborate, Chris.
I think that'd be a good fight. I think someone's getting knocked out in that. I don't think we're going to see much wrestling.
Y'all, am I crazy for saying Curtis Blades win this fight?
No, I think Curtis Blades can win. I mean, what adversity have we really seen Hokett face? Curtis Blades is the best opponent that he's faced by far.
And I think Blades' striking is better than Hokett's too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Blades is a solid fighter. He's not a bad fighter.
Do not let them be on the press conference.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a main card fight, you know. So they are going to be on the press conference together, unfortunately. There's going to be some.
I think it'll be a good fight. What do you think, Trigar? Do you think it'll be a good fight?
Well, you would think the wrestling cancels out, but I actually think that Hokett will try.
Yo,
hey, what's up, bro? We are live. What's up, man? What's up?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the stream, brother. I think it'll be an interesting fight in that everyone thinks the striking it's going to be a striking battle and the wrestling will just cancel itself out. I do see scenarios where Hokett is going to put Blades in a clinch scenario and he's going to play this fight out like he has with his past fights where he just kind of goes all out and just pressures to no end. And no, it's not a title fight, man. This is not a title fight. This is just a fight that's being rumored for 327.
That would be hilarious.
If interim title fight would be crazy.
But how I think it's impressive how much, pull that Hokett is garnering right now that he's gonna fight Blades potentially.
I mean, they just put Rizvan Kuniev against Blades, so they're gonna put anyone against Curtis Blades.
I know. I mean, very interesting. I think it's very interesting. I mean, but Kuniev fought for a title in the PFL. I feel like that was a little more warranted than this fight.
Right. It's PFL and he was on steroids. I don't really think it amounts to much. Like Hokett's been on a good run. He's a guy that you look at how shallow the division is. They want to build up anyone at this point. They're going to build up.
I'm just saying. I mean, like we just saw this dude on Contender Series, and
go Niners, man. Former Niner Josh Hokett, by the way. But
yeah,
Rizvan Kuniev.
Dude, he's the GOAT, bro. He's better than John Jones. He's literally the GOAT.
Is he better than Shamil? The world may never know.
I don't know. We need to see that fight next. Shamil versus Rizvan.
Yeah, bro. We already talked about the new fights. But I'm down to give you a little recap. Just text me, man. They're trying to inject talent in a heavyweight. Yeah, they are, man. They are.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
God willing, they're trying, man. It's just not really. It's not happening. It's just not happening. Like the fact that Waldo is the biggest up and comer at heavyweight right now just kind of speaks volumes about. And nothing against Waldo. Waldo's he's turned around my perspective of him. It's just like
yeah.
Who do you think fighting in the White House? Got to be Islam Ilya would be insane. Islam Ilya is not happening. It's gonna be Ilya Gaethje. It'll be Ilya versus Gaethje for sure.
I feel like with the heavyweight division for the UFC, I think it's a perfect way to put it is that results are not a reflection of effort. They're trying. The results aren't great, but you can't say they're not trying.
They should just give up and turn the heavyweight division. It already is a drunk fighting division. I'm not gonna lie. If we look at the state of heavyweight and how kind of low class it is, which is why I was saying they should honestly just lower the limit. Lower the limit to 240, 235. Force these guys to get into shape. Bro, I'm not trying to watch Taliesin Teixeira and Tai Tuivasa every weekend. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I just don't,
Yeah. No, that was kind of brutal.
Hey, debrief is Mando, bro. Debrief is definitely Mando. But we will get into, and these are the perks of staying on stream. We're going to get into Strickland and Fluffy. Give you all kind of our early thoughts on the matchup. What it means for middleweight.
Fluffy.
First off, I've kind of maintained the belief that Fluffy is going to win this fight. And if he's really, really on point, he's probably going to win it the same way he did Roman. I really think so. Strickland obviously poses the threat in that he comes forward, he crashes in, he's got good defense. We haven't really seen him get tested in the wrestling all too much in his past few fights. Obviously, DDP kind of leaned into it, and DDP found success for what it's worth. Now, when you're going up against a guy like Fluffy, who kind of brings it back to you tenfold, I don't see Strickland getting this one done by doing his classic routine of a jab and a teep, which has pretty much been his bread and butter.
Yeah, yo, Ro, we said that at the same time.
Yeah,
I said the Philly shell as he commented that. That's hilarious.
I don't know. Like, I feel like the Philly shell works until it doesn't, and Fluffy will find an answer for it. Like, as long as you just go into the wrestling, and we'll see if Strickland can stuff takedowns and everything, that's cool. But the thing that sets Fluffy, Marab, DDP, and all these guys apart is that they just don't care. They don't care if you stuff a takedown. Like, this is just going to keep coming at you. Like, jabbing a knee, jabbing a teep. Jabbing a teep is how
jab teep. Yeah, yo, have you seen how big Strickland is right now? He looks chunky. He's like, I think he's sitting at like 230 right now.
He's usually at
230. Or maybe that was a couple weeks ago, but he looked like he had some weight to cut. He did not Strickland look like he was in good shape.
I think the one time we've seen Strickland at light heavyweight was against Nasruddin Imavov, which he won that fight. But yeah, he usually cuts from 230 down, kind of like, Pereira was also cutting from 230, I believe. So, hey, I don't know how these fighters do it. I really don't.
I don't either. It's so unhealthy. Like, it is super unhealthy for these guys to do that.
But what's really going to help Fluffy here is, Chris, it's a 5-rounder. If this was 3 rounds, I may have thought differently. But if this goes in a 4 and 5, like, Fluffy is going to dominate this fight.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I love how we're going to get a lot of answers in this fight, because we really never, like you said, seen Strickland engage in what might be a grappling heavy fight. People talk about how he's actually a solid wrestler. He's always training in a singlet, which, you wouldn't do that if you're not decent at wrestling. So, yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to bring and how he's going to be able to counter Fluffy, because, like you said, Fluffy, he takes what you're throwing and then brings it back tenfold. And this is a guy who we've seen the striking, very solid striker, but he's an elite grappler. He's elite at pushing the pace. He's almost, I mean, from what we've seen recently and even earlier on in his career, he's kind of like a middleweight Marab. He just doesn't stop. The motor is on full tilt the entire fight. So, we'll see how Strickland's able to deal with that. Maybe he even abandons the Philly shell. I don't think he will, because that's how he fights, and I think that'd be a very big adjustment to make on the fly. But I don't think the Philly shell is really going to work against Hernandez, because it's a very good defensive mechanism. But in this fight, I think Strickland's going to have to be super offensive if he really wants to negate Fluffy Hernandez. So, we're definitely going to see some takedowns from Fluffy, 100%. Will Strickland maybe try some of his own? We won't know that until, we get into the fight. But I think that Fluffy is just super good at kind of using your game plan against you. And we've seen it multiple times. That's also kind of, I want Fluffy to win this fight. I'm taking him to win this fight, but I really want to see Fluffy versus Hamzat. And obviously Hamzat, whole different breed. He's a different breed.
Hamzat will win that.
He will win that 100%. But I want to see Fluffy's style against Hamzat, because Fluffy is a solid grappler. He's great. He's a great grappler. But Hamzat's world class. He's one of the best that we've ever seen do it, and just super dominant while he's doing it. But for me in this fight, I think it's just the motor. I feel like Strickland's a little bit too tentative sometimes, and he doesn't really go out there and take it. He's a point fighter, if we're being completely honest. And this is not going to work against Fluffy, who isn't a point fighter. He's a guy that's going to go in there and try and rip your head off, whether it's on the ground, submit you, even on the feet. He can stand with the best of them, you know. And maybe down the line, I'd like to see a Hernandez versus Imavov fight. I would like to see that fight as well. I think that could be a very interesting matchup in terms of styles. But you know, obviously Imavov, in my opinion, should get the next title shot. I don't think that the winner of this is going to get it unless Fluffy does something outstanding. But even then, I think Imavov's done enough to earn that title shot. That performance against Kaio was super impressive. Also, Imavov's been out of action since then. So what was that? September of last year?
Yeah.
So it's been a few months. So, you know, obviously the whole Khamzat situation needs to get figured out because you can't have a middleweight title fight once every year. I feel like this is a division that kind of needs to keep moving a little bit, but I mean, if that's what's going to happen, so be it. But I think that Imavov definitely deserves the next shot. But yeah, Hernandez, in my opinion, it could be close, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in there and wipes the floor with Strickland.
Now, what if Strickland gets Fluffy arrested mid-fight? Does that count as a win?
Does that count as a win? I would call it a no contest.
Oh, what about
or if it goes past 2.5 rounds, could be a technical decision for Fluffy.
Prime Usman versus Fluffy? Give me Prime Usman.
Yeah, give me Usman.
I fairly easy too. I just think it's very hard for me to take a lot of, you know. Well, okay, this is Prime Usman at welter or middleweight, right? So I guess that factors into it.
I don't know, but he looked pretty good at middleweight when he fought Hamzat.
Like skill for skill, I'm still taking Prime Kamaru. I think Fluffy's gonna outdog Strickland. Like you said, everything Strickland talks about with, you know, the pressure and the pace. Like Hernandez is that guy, but with a higher gas tank and just a way scarier grappling threat. And I'll give Sean credit. Great volume boxer. Obviously, we mentioned the Philly shell before. It's just when you force Sean backwards, you stifle a lot of his game. And Hernandez is not the type to back up. He is going to come forward. So really, I think Hernandez will just follow the blueprint we saw in the DDP fights. Just crowd him, push him back, mix grappling at the right times. I respect Strickland's durability. Like, he's definitely a hard guy to put away. So I'll say Fluffy gets it done by decision. Would I be shocked by a late submission? No. Maybe it's worth a sprinkle. I think if Hernandez just wears him down and takes the back in the 4th or 5th round, I think there is a choke possibility. But I'm looking at the odds for this fight right now.
That's crazy. I just pulled that up.
So Fluffy is minus 285 now. So the books agree with the both of us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. 73% of the bets are on Fluffy. I'm not sure how much of the handle's on him.
I'm looking
your
that up
job
right now.
buddy.
Yep. You know me. I love my betting splits.
Okay, the over 4.5 is minus 145. I think that's a good line. I think that's something I would probably bet. Hernandez by decision is plus 150. I think that's also pretty good. Again, Sean is just a hard guy to put away. So if this has to go all 5 rounds, it will. I just don't see Fluffy losing this fight. I really don't.
Yeah, 73% of the bets, 72% of the money. So I really don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, pretty safely Fluffy for us. And what this means for middleweight, if Fluffy gets past Strickland, I have a hard time saying he can just wait and he'll get a title shot, as you mentioned, with Khamzat's inactivity. Khamzat Imavov will happen probably sometime in the summer. I think it'll happen right after the White House card, if anything. But I'm trying to think who else that maybe if Kaio beats RDR, then you could do Fluffy and Kaio. That could potentially make sense. And if RDR wins, maybe you set up Fluffy and RDR again. It kind of sucks because if Fluffy does, if he does finish Strickland, it's going to suck saying, all right, you still got to wait. But this is how it is, man. This is kind of what we were destined to get with Chimaev as champ.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but I think Fluffy will get the work. He'll get the job done here. And then we'll see what happens after. Real quick, I'll actually pull up the middleweight rankings just so we can get peace of mind on that. Rankings, we'll go to middleweight. So Drickus is still there. I think Drickus and Brendan Allen is probably going to be the next fight there.
Brendan Allen.
Yeah. Hey, DDP, go out there. Please do your thing. Izzy is fighting Joe Pyfer all the way down here.
That's going to be a scary one for me. I don't know if I'm ready to watch that.
I don't have a prediction for that just yet, y'all. Chimaev is busy. Yeah, he is. He is. I don't have a pick for Izzy and Pyfer yet. Y'all are gonna have to stay tuned for that. And we're a little bit of a ways out. So once I get some film done, I'll give y'all a pick. But yeah, I think what makes the most sense is between Kaio and RDR. If Kaio gets it done, maybe he sets himself up for that top 5 opportunity. If Drickus beats Brendan Allen, DDP and Fluffy would be a really interesting fight. And I think they're going to set up DDP and Allen sometime, maybe UFC 327. Maybe that could be the co-main for 326. Who knows?
Yeah, I do think that Dana's going live on Tuesday. He has to. He has to kind of set the record straight right now.
Wait, am I missing something? Why Tuesday? Why Tuesday specifically?
He usually goes live on Tuesdays. That's usually. Yeah, that's like usually his announcement day.
Izzy is gonna school Pyfer like Hermanson did in the later rounds.
I don't know, man. That after seeing the way Imavov took care of Izzy with the power and precision, Pyfer's a powerful dude. I don't know if Izzy's chin is cooked. It might be, but in terms of a technical fight, Izzy should win a technical fight.
I'm not gonna bring up the W.
Not gonna bring up the hell no. I can't.
I really could. I really could. Out of my pure respect for Israel Adesanya, I'm not gonna do it. Imavov is way more I can't read. Imavov is way more technical.
He's way more technical than Pyfer. Pyfer has one punch. Yes, but
all Pyfer has to do is land one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just lands one. He might cook Izzy right there. And the fact that Pyfer is opened up as a slight favorite is super scary. He's minus 130. I don't know. That doesn't.
I wonder what they're gonna line Pyfer by knockout at.
I don't even know if I can. Some books might have that. Let me see. Pyfer.
While he's doing that, I'll bring up the rest of the Houston card for y'all. Obviously, we're not gonna spoil any of our predictions, because that video is gonna drop sometime this week. We'll just kind of go over the fights briefly before we peace out of here. Let me see if I can find this. Hold on. Tapology, Strickland, Hernandez. There we go. So co-main, obviously, Jeff Neal and Uros Medic. That fight will end in the first round. There's no way it goes past one. I know we got that promise with Jeff Neal and Carlos Prates. And it didn't end up going past one round because Prates knocked out Neal with a spinning elbow in the final second of the round. But this is going to be a banger. Is it a worthy co-main? No, I don't want to. I don't need Sephora products. I have no girlfriend that I need to buy it for. Jeff Neal and Uros Medic. I just don't know if it's really a co-main worthy fight. It'll be a banger. It'll be a good scrap. Someone's going to go down. And at this point, that's kind of what the UFC wants. It's what Paramount wants. So I guess in that sense, it's good as a co-main, but Pyfer does have power, but he doesn't finish people who are semi-decent when he's on the feet. I'd be more worried about a Pyfer sub than a knockout.
Interesting.
maybe a club and sub. But I don't think Piper. I think Piper is willing to just stand and trade with Izzy. I don't think there's any situation where maybe in the clinch he'll try and get in the clinch, but I think Izzy's really good in clinch situations as well, and he's really good at keeping his distance. And the way he uses his kicks as well is very, very good at avoiding those spots up against the cage. So I think it's an interesting fight, and that's also why I just don't have a pick yet. I do slightly lean Piper as of right now. I could see it going the distance, and in that case, I think Izzy does have a good shot to win. But the last 2 times I thought Izzy would go the distance, well, I thought Imavov was going to finish him, so I picked that. But I picked Izzy to finish DDP, I believe, in like the 4th round, or I had him by decision. If it goes the distance, I think it's Izzy's fight. Did he finish Hermanson? No. Did he finish Gastelum? No. He got some knockdowns and only threw a right hand.
I can't find any props. I think we're too far out.
Yeah, we're too far out. I also think
I'd agree. Gastelum actually has a cinder block for a face.
And also, I think the Hermanson fight was so early in Piper's development as a UFC fighter. Like, it's clear that there is a difference in how he fights now compared to back then. And he's definitely more than just a punch. You know what I mean? Like, I think Piper definitely has a lot more to his skill set now than he had before. Dan Ige and Melky Costa is going to be a great fight. I think that's a solid fight there. Ante Delia stepping back in the octagon after that whole fiasco with the Waldo eye poke. We'll see how he does against Sergey Spivak. I tend to favor Ante in that matchup, but you'll get my full breakdown during the week. This is a new one. All right. Yeah, Jacoby Smith.
Super excited for this fight.
Jacoby Smith and Josiah Harrell. Josiah Harrell obviously coming off a very, very big moment in his life with the brain surgery, and he's back in the octagon now. Going up against yeah, that's a fire nickname. Going up against Jacoby Smith, who is, one of welterweight's brighter prospects. A lot of people are high on him. I'll say it like this, man. Josiah Harrell is plus 385 right now, and Jacoby Smith is like minus 500. It might be a little wide.
Not on DraftKings.
Right. I forgot it changed. So, okay. Yeah, that's another wrinkle. There you go. That's another wrinkle. So everyone's betting down, and everyone's putting money on Harrell.
Yeah,
which is
he is 67% of the handle right now. It's early though, but I might have to throw a little bit on Muscle Hamster.
I don't know. I'm kind of scared of. I think what's scaring everyone is the Javid Bashrat fight from last week, where they just brought in a guy like out of nowhere, like Johnny Vasquez. You wouldn't have thought like he would be back in the UFC, but they just brought him in.
Dude, and then we didn't even talk about, they cut Javid Bashrat. Why?
They cut, wait, this is news to me. Wait, they cut Javid?
I sent it in our group chat. They cut Javid Bashrat.
Was his contract up?
I don't know, but I don't see a reason to let him go. He didn't even do anything. Here, yeah, let me go on. You can go on UFC. You're on your Twitter, right? Are you logged into Twitter still?
Yeah.
Go to UFC roster watch on Twitter.
Oh,
he was in their round of cuts this past week.
Wow.
Yeah. That was a surprise to me. I didn't even know. I saw all the people getting cut, and I was like, okay. And then I'm scrolling, and I see Javid Bashrat. I'm like, this has to be a mistake.
I don't want to say I understand, because I do think Bashrat had potential. Did the Johnny Vasquez fight leave a bad taste in their mouth? Y'all got to let me know too, because I didn't really watch the full Bashrat Vasquez fight, in all honesty. But was it that bad? Did Javid like underperform to the extent that like he was? Am I true? He was undefeated.
Nah, he was 14-2.
Oh, okay.
He got knocked out by Simone, and he lost to someone. He was on a 2-fight losing streak.
Oh yeah, wait. What am I saying? Why am I thinking of someone else?
You're thinking of his brother.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Fareed. I don't.
Let's see what the scorecards were.
Yeah, I don't get this, y'all. I don't get this. I don't know why.
A unanimous 29-28 for Basharat.
Yikes. I mean, it wasn't a bad fight, but he made it way too close. But it's a short notice opponent. Like, I don't think you can fault him for that, you know? But anyways, back to the original point. That's crazy, by the way. I did not know they cut Javid Basharat. What were we talking about? Oh, Jacoby Smith and Josiah Harrell, how that relates. So I do think that people are kind of scared of that fight because Gianni Vasquez, made it the distance, and everyone probably bet Basharat to just kill him in the first round, and that didn't happen. So maybe that's a little bit of where people are leaning with the odds and everything. They don't want to bet on. I tend to favor. I favor Jacoby just because he is the prospect and he's shown it time and time again. But short notice definitely adds a little bit of intrigue to that fight. So we'll see. Maybe I do take Josiah Harrell. Maybe I just throw all of you off guard. Jacoby Smith kind of looked mid against Nico Price. Yeah, he did what he had to do. It wasn't anything crazy. But as long as he came out of that fight with a finish, I think that's all that was really necessary.
I had under 1.5. I was pissed.
Wow. And I think that fight ended in the second round.
Right after that. Yeah, I was really mad.
There was definitely moments in that fight where Jacoby could have just ended it too.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was screaming at my phone.
Zach Reese and Michel Pereira is also interesting. Just because it's kind of just like who's more shit. But
I think there's some good fights on this card. I think the two right under that are good. Chidi versus Carlos Leal and O'Day versus Alibi. I think we'll get to learn a lot about Alibi in that fight.
Yeah, man. I really like Alibi.
I do too.
I'm kind of O'day
always surprises.
I think that's the fight I'm most torn on. Odie Osborne and Alibi Idris. Like, because Odie is such a vet. And we saw what he did against Steve Erceg, and I don't know, man. I think that's an interesting fight. Alden Correa back in the octagon after he finished Alessandro Costa, which none of us expected. I thought Costa was going to make pretty easy work of Correa, but he proved me wrong.
Yep.
Carlos Leal took all those rounds just to get slimed by a senior citizen on roids. Sorry, yeah. Both of them were they were both on roids. Let's be real. Muslim Salikov was definitely juicing. No 41-year-old is moving like that. But yeah, that is crazy. I do want to see what the weight cut looks like for Chidi, just because. How old is Chidi now? Chidi is
like 38.
Yeah, bro. He's 38 cutting.
I always forget that he's a lot older than he is.
Yeah, at that age, I don't know how good that weight cut will be, but we'll see how he is on the scales. Jocelyn Edwards and Nora Cornell. Ramiz Brahimai versus Punahele Soriano. I think that's going to be a very fun fight. JPL coming off Contender Series. One of the better knockouts of Contender Series, I'd say. That was probably the loudest I'd heard the Apex in quite some time. Now going up against Phil Rowe. So it was supposed to be JPL versus Vanderford. Are we going to have a Damian Penis watch party? I think he's on UFC London. We could. Hey, and let us know, y'all. We could try and maneuver a way to do fight companions. The only thing is, like, I'm working. So I really can't do much about that. We would love to do fight companions, but it's just kind of when we get.
I could do a solo fight companion, and you guys can just watch me pound beers.
Hey, yeah. If y'all want Chris to do a solo fight companion, it's totally up to him to do this. Just let us know. We'll stream it for y'all. Because now that it's on Paramount, it makes things a lot easier. But I believe Pinas is fighting Wes Schultz. I believe I saw that floating around. Damian is gonna win. Damian is gonna starch Wes Schultz. I've never been that high on Wes Schultz. I give him credit for the banana split that he pulled off in Contender Series. Way to get your way into the UFC. It was a great submission, but yeah, Pinas is gonna flatline him, unfortunately. Yadier Del Val, big gambling guy, going up against Jordan Levitt. I'm not even gonna touch any Yadier Del Val fight for the rest of my days. Carly Judice is going to knock out Juliana Miller. I'll just say it like that. But yeah, man, overall, I think this is an interesting card.
I like it.
I think top to bottom, I think we could see the potential for a lot of finishes, which is exactly what the UFC wants. Obviously, a great main event with Strickland and Fluffy. I think we're all excited for that one. I will be tuning in, probably at work. Don't tell my boss. Bruce Buffer is going to have to announce Mr. Penis. Yeah, that's going to be a legendary moment. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun, man. So is that fight on London? Because from what I saw, the UFC London fights, I didn't see Penis and Schultz on there. But I can check again. I think it's in the Apex. Yeah, it's in the Apex.
Yeah. No, it's on the Mexico City card in 2 weeks.
Oh, it's on Mexico. Okay. We'll be ready for it, y'all.
I didn't even realize, bro. Pinos's nickname is so fire. It's the Baba Yaga, like John Wick, the boogeyman.
There was so much potential. He could have used the long. He could have used the hard. He could have used the flamboyant. He could have he could have used any adjective would have worked.
Erect.
He could have used the erect. He could have used the dysfunctional. He could have used the functional. There are so many different adjectives he could have went with.
The girthy.
Yeah, it's crazy. The girthy is crazy. He could have went with any of those options, you know?
Yeah, potential.
Baba Yaga is tough, though.
Yeah.
So it's Damien the Baba Yaga Penis. Pretty crazy how that works. But hey, man. It's getting close to my bedtime, y'all. I'm becoming an unk as the days pass. I'm trying to go to sleep earlier, man. But we want to thank y'all for tuning into the stream. If you're still here, make sure you like it up. Subscribe if you're new. Turn those post notifications on. We appreciate all you guys hopping in, talking with us in chat all the time. I know we make all these promises to y'all. We're going to keep streaming. And it'll probably be in this format if we're not doing a recap, just where we just kind of go over what's been popping the last few days in the UFC. I know this time we got a lot of content, and that's always good. So, yeah, y'all, we're going to call it a night here in the War Room.
Sir.
We're going to cap it off at a minute 17. Want to thank y'all for tuning in. So in terms of the content schedule, before we peace out real quick, also you can follow the socials down here. Before we peace out, Strickland Fluffy predictions in full with our full betting breakdown, full card predictions. That's going to come out this week. We are shooting for Wednesday, Thursday. We'll get that out for y'all. TBD on the recap stream, but obviously we'll probably get it done. But if we can't, y'all know where to find us. We're going to come with another stream during the week. So we'll get some videos done too. I know y'all saw that Jalton Almeida video, which somehow Jalton Almeida got cut like right after we recorded that. So it was like we were like racing to put that video up. Thank y'all for showing that video love. We really appreciate it. We're going to come with more videos like that too. But yeah, man, Chris, any last words?
Nah, you guys will catch us for predictions Thursday.
Yeah,
we'll shoot to get the video out on Thursday.
Yeah. We'll get it up very, very soon. Hopefully we get Sam for that too. I know y'all been waiting on Sam as well. So thank you guys for tuning in to the War Room. Streetcar Gentler alongside Chris Schroyer saying so long. Peace out. Love you guys. We'll see you guys next time.